Guess what movie I went to watch? No cheating. No looking at the title. I see you. Here's a clue. Yes, you're right. Gladiator 2. Not long ago, during lockdown. Wait. That was 5 years ago. During lockdown, I got a bit bored and suddenly discovered the world of musical theatre. And after lockdown ended, I went to the West End multiple times to see multiple different shows. And one of them was Wicked. And guess what? I had an app where you could get really, really cheap tickets. Literally front row tickets for £30. The app's called Today Tix. No sponsor. Wicked is a prequel to The Wizard of Oz. And to be honest, I haven't seen all the way through. I might have, but I think I was too young to remember any of it. In Wicked, we follow two students at Shiz University. What the shiz? We follow Glinda, who later becomes the Good Witch, and Elphaba, who is later renowned, or who is infamous as the Wicked Witch of the West, as both Glinda and Elphaba form an unlikely friendship. Elphaba has been a social outcast for all of her life due to her green coloration in her skin, whereas Glinda has always been spoiled, having all the best things in the world and only cares about popularity. As we follow their time at Shiz University, the contrast between Glinda, who really only cares about impressing one person, Fiyero, compared to Elphaba, who's trying to study and hone her skills in order to meet the Wizard of Oz, in the hopes that the wizard will de-greenify her. A lot of the jokes comes from their different backgrounds and how they interact with each other. This is all set in the background of political unrest, as animals are being silenced and removed from the university. This is shown through Dr. Dillamond being removed. I was actually really excited to see the Wicked movie. And before you say anything, I also really liked the Les Mis movie. I don't know what that says about me, but you know, your judgment. There have been multiple setbacks in the film that has led to long delays, as well as some controversy, which to be honest, I don't care about, so I won't talk about it. Just a quick side note, American cinemas are so much better than the UK ones. Have you been to an Odeon in the UK? All the lights are always on. There are always twitching lights in the back that just ruin the experience. But in US cinemas, all of it is pitch black. As well as how grand everything is. Like, look at this clip.
Don't miss the big moment. What?
As well as that, look at these chairs. This is crazy. It's crazy. I can move forwards, backwards, up and down, and I have so much leg space. Where's that in the UK? Four buttons. 4 buttons. Safe to say that this is a good story. If you've seen the Broadway production, or for me, the West End production, you'll know that it's been on for a very, very long time. It's literally the 4th longest running musical. I mean, if it stayed around for that long, it must be pretty good, right? There isn't really much to say about the theatre version compared to the cinema version. Apart from that, I was a bit skeptical about the runtime at first. The film is 2 hours and 45 minutes and only covers the first half of the musical. Whereas, if you go to the theatre to see it, 2 hours 45 is the whole production, the first half and the second half. And the film didn't even feel like nearly 3 hours long. The only indication that was 3 hours was when I really needed to go to the toilet because of the massive slushy that I had. If I'm being honest, I always really liked the first half of the Wicked musical. However, I wasn't that keen on the second. I'm not sure if I like the second half as much as I did the first. However, that's less to do with the film and more about the material that they're basing it on. Anyone else feel like that? However, I have to say, compared to the theatre version, where they're limited to a small space, the film is so expansive. Shiz University, the Emerald City, is on a scale that I could never imagine from watching the theatre version. It's everything that you want it to be for a massive blockbuster movie. All the areas feel so alive and lived in. I haven't really seen in a while from theatre, cinema. One doesn't simply talk about this without talking about the music. The musical numbers, with the way that it was choreographed and the backgrounds, made you feel a sense of childish wonder that I haven't felt in a while when watching a film. You had the feeling as if you were watching live theatre. The standouts for me were Walking Through Life, Popular Song, and Loathing. I'm not sure it's actually called Loathing, but you know, this one. And the last 20 minutes, I was at the edge of my seat. Not literally, because I could recline my chair back, so I wouldn't fall off. But you know, the last bit of the first half, that bit, genuinely gave me goosebumps. Even though it was the end of part 1, it still felt like a conclusion to a story and not like I had to wait for part 2 in order to get the full experience. I know some people were worried about Ariana Grande playing Glinda, but you know what? She played the character very, very well. She embodied the character, and from all the interviews, it shows how much she really cares and how big of a fan she was before even being cast. Cynthia Erivo was always going to be great, singing wise and acting wise, and one of the parts that made me tear up the most was where she was tricked to wear the pointy black hat, where her emotions genuinely made me tear up. Fiyero, played by Jonathan Bailey, was a great prince-like character, and Jeff Goldblum as the wizard was an obvious choice for the part due to his charisma. Michelle Yeoh also played the part really well as an elegant yet wise figure. And although Jeff Goldblum and Michelle Yeoh, how do I say this nicely? You know when you do like a what went well, even better if, their voices weren't the best because they barely had any singing time. It didn't really take away from any of the film. Also, if you are a musical theatre fan, I think there are some great references that you would enjoy. Wicked is a film that's well worth watching in the cinema. It is one of those films that should be experienced on a big screen with blazing speakers playing the music. I think sometimes with cinema we've lost the ability to get lost in a film, and I think this is one of the times where you will be transcended to another world for those 3 hours. Whether you like musicals or you've never watched a musical before, this film is well worth watching, just for the entertainment value. Well, this movie has now inspired me to sing out loud. Are you ready for this? What the shiz? Do you get it? Do you get it? What the shiz?